Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. Um, and boy, the view is really wimping out this week. Um, Over the weekend, uh, the Orange Dum Dum uh, dropped some missiles in Iran and announced that their entire uh, uh, nuclear defense, nuclear missile program, and nuclear program entirely was just destroyed. It was obliterated. It's gone. Um, and the like our own internal investigation has shown that that's not true. They may have set them back a couple of months, but because Trump is so stupid and signaled so far in advance, they moved like 500 or 400 tons of uranium, and like they were ready. We didn't we might have hit the target that we were heading for initially, but they moved the stuff. That's not funny. Um, so even his own press secretary said today that was classified information and shouldn't have been leaked. But then they're saying, oh, it's not true. And he's so addle-minded. He rambled on about, well, that's they say we don't know, and maybe we don't know, but I know that we know, and it's obliterated. It's also fucking exhausting. They just lie through their teeth. And uh, and I don't even know if this was even mentioned this week on The View. Talking to a reporter outside the plane the other day, talking about the trouble between Israel and Iran, and he got so worked up and frustrated. He said, "These are two countries that have been fighting each other for so long. They don't know what the fuck they're doing." He said that live television. Um, if a Democrat had said that, they would have impeached him already. The media would have gone crazy about the foul mouth and what does this say to our children and blah, 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 blah. He gets a free pass to rape and pillage and swear and shit himself. It's just so fucking hypocritical. Um, but that doesn't, I don't think, has made a blip. Um, and he's in a lot of trouble because even his base don't want him uh, to bomb other countries. This whole idea that he ran on this idea of being a peacetime president and ending all the wars. I don't know that there's anybody in that MAGA cult that gives a flying fuck what his campaign promise was. They'll twist their little tiny little brains around to whatever he does to justify it because they love him so much. He is their leader. He lets them hate. Um, and I think the thing that they're missing so hard, and I can't believe this wasn't the lead story. The lead story today was the little Twitter fight between Trump and AOC. It wasn't even a fight. He went on a diatribe, and they didn't even play the best clip from her response when she said, "I think you forget I'm from the Bronx and we eat little boys from Queens for breakfast." That's funny. Um, and it's that kind of thing that helped um, Mamdani get the Democratic nomination for mayor. That election was yesterday. They still have to go through all the ranked choice voting, but there's just real no practical way for Cuomo to make up the difference in votes, even with the ranked choice. So um, Mamdani will be the Democratic candidate. And they talked about he talked about the issues and things that were important and affordability. Yeah, he did say all those things. And Amy Farrah Griffin, you probably weren't paying attention to him. He can't freeze the rent on every apartment, and he knows that. It's targeted rent freezing when there's city owned, the rent stabilized. There's so many factors that go into non-market rate rents. But anyway, and of course, she's just clutching her pearls about the Democratic Socialists. But And we need someone with experience. And that's the whole thing, is that's what we're all fucking tired of. We're tired of career politicians that have been around the block, done all their fuckery, and are in it for themselves and to make themselves money. What was most inspiring about Mamdani's campaign is that he's a lifelong New Yorker. He cares about the city. He talked about the people of the city and not the business of the city. And that's the thing that I think that people are missing altogether. The government is not a business, it's a service. And he talked about what the services that could be provided for the people by the government to help them, or what the government could um, endorse, what the city hall can influence. He talked about what services can be provided to the people and make it more affordable. He didn't go hard on specific policy points, um, but what he also went on, he's very charismatic, he's very smiley, he's very handsome, he's young, and he did not let anyone else run the narrative. So when Cuomo was attacking him, there's $35 million PAC money, $35 million in PAC money that ran nonstop ads against him and trying to turn the entire Jewish community of New York City against him by calling him an anti-Semite. And um, he was very clear over and over again that you can. He supports the state of Israel, but you can criticize the government of Israel without being anti-Semitic. He said it over and over again. He didn't let them control that narrative. They talking about his inexperience. He would shoot back with the experience of Cuomo being a granny killer and a sex pest, and the fact that he doesn't live in New York. And like he hammered back in a way with a smile, and it was clever. That got to the point, and then let him move on to make the point that he wanted to make. He didn't get bogged down in their attacks on him, and they were constant. He also was super smart about cross endorsing with other candidates that were on the sort of progressive ticket, Brad Lander, and the other guy, the big black guy, who was so great in one of the debates. Because we have ranked choice voting, they can sort of buddy up to be like, the most important thing is don't rank Cuomo, pick us. Either one or two, doesn't matter. Just, it'll be fine. Because if one of us doesn't make it, then the vote goes to the other one. But just pick us. And they went on Stephen Colbert together, and Colbert was a dick to Mamdani. But that's the point. They want to talk about how do you reach young people? You reach young people by having young, inspiring people. He's not an idiot. He's been a state assemblyman. He understands how government works. He will bring qualified people with him instead of the clown car that we've got in Washington. Like you don't. That's the whole thing that just irritates the crap out of me. You aren't just getting the personality. You're getting all of the character that they have shown throughout their career, and what that's going to bring to an entire administration. And that point needs to be hammered home over and over again because people should forgot it about Trump, about what he was going to bring, and all these people with their voter remorse. Like we all told you this was going to happen. And no, if if he hikes the corporate rate and taxes billionaires, no, there isn't going to be a mass exodus. That the state is so fucking careful about if you change your residency, they are going to make sure that you can prove that you were gone from this city for over 186 days in the year. They are not fooling around, um, especially when it's if you're talking about large income tax dollars. So, and they don't want to be out of the city for 6 months of the year. Um, and they've in the past 20 years they've declared the New York economy dead after September 11th, after Sandy, nobody will want to live here, after COVID, that the businesses will not come back. They do. They have. Midtown's thriving. Congestion pricing was going to ruin the city. Thriving. Um, all that fear mongering bullshit. And this is what we're looking for. We're looking for solid, progressive, how are you going to help ideas? And um, is he going to accomplish all of them? Probably not. But I would much rather see someone start out swinging hard for the fences. And if they have to compromise, they'll compromise somewhere closer to the middle rather than starting out from the center or the center right and then compromising all the way to the right. Like, I don't want to see that bullshit anymore. And if you want to inspire young people to vote, you gotta give them a reason to say, why are we rooting for you? David Hogg is in heaven today. AOC endorsed him. Bernie Sanders endorsed him. Juani Williams endorsed him. The New York Times endorsed Cuomo. Washington Post endorsed Cuomo. We're sick of the old guard, especially corrupt sex pests. Um, so to me, that's the biggest political story, specifically for the Democrats. And unfortunately, the establishment Democrat are going to look at this as a one-off, and they're not going to take the right lessons from this. That you need a candidate who can inspire people, make them feel good about voting for them, make them feel good that something good will come from government if they are in charge. Anyway, and the View seems to have missed that point all week. Anyway, thankfully Anna has been there to she at least threw his name into the mix today because I get it. They're trying to toe the line too, which is just lame and pathetic. Um, Trump can't pull your license to be on air. He can try. But all of these fucking media companies they're just kowtowing to him and so afraid of him. Fuck all y'all. Um, that election results, and I just sat on my computer refreshing. How we doing? All evening. That to me was the most thrilling and I feel like the most hopeful election night in a decade. And I know that they're all out to poo-poo it. And I hope he can maintain his level of um, sort of maintain his level of energy under continued scrutiny because it's just going to get worse. Um, Especially the fucking Zionists. The woe is meing. Oh, we're gonna have Shira law and it's gonna, terrorist state. I can't believe after September 11th, a Muslim is going to run New York City. Come on, people. Fucking Stephen Miller, is that his name? That creepy guy, the one that looks like a dead lurch. It was like, this is what happens when you have unfettered migration. We have we have the whole rainbow in this city. Country, religion, flavor, whatever. And that's the whole point of it, is that everybody is exposed to everybody, and for the most part, get along. And they're talking about. He was asked, "How are you going to bridge the divide between Muslims and Jews?" And he's like, and he ran cross endorsing a Jewish man, Brad Lander, and they both said together that it's part of it is leading by example, and the other part is to make sure that we all understand that we're all in it together and we're here to help each other. Um, anyway, now I would like to see Lander primary Schumer or like go get it. Uh, yeah. Anyway, stop fighting the left from the center, because the left isn't exactly the left, the progressive side of the Democratic Party is not out of step with what the country wants, if you can believe polling about healthcare and gun control and uh, immigration reform and education, and what people say that they want is actually what the progressive part of the Democratic Party wants to achieve. And the establishment Democrats don't want to admit that Mamdani isn't a one-off because they don't want to admit that they're wrong, and they also don't want to fucking govern. They don't want to give us the things that we want because they're still making too much money doing it the way they've been doing it. So it's about getting rid of all of that corporate establishment bullshit greed and having people who are committed to actually providing help and service to the constituents of the United States. Anyway, that's my rant for Wednesday.